Hey everybody, welcome to episode 45 of the Barista Files. Today is Monday, August 15th, 2011. Apology really quick for not recording yesterday. I had every intention of recording yesterday and was planning on recording in the afternoon like I usually do, and in the space of about, I don't know, maybe 15 minutes, we must have lost at least 3 degrees of barometric pressure. It went from sunny and wonderful to a huge rainstorm with big fat drops of rain, and my head just decided that was not okay. I got a screaming headache and had to lay down for a while. I actually ended up having to take something for it, and I usually don't. So I just wasn't able really to give you guys my full energy. So I decided to push it to this morning. It's about 9:30 in the morning. I've had breakfast and brunch and showered. So let's get started. All right, week in review. This week started out pretty boring. Last week started out pretty boring. Same old things. I was sort of packing to get stuff going towards the move and such like that. And then Thursday, Friday, and Sunday were going to be my dye days. Thursday went fine. I got a bunch of lace weight done. Friday went fine until about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I had been dyeing and I was in great mojo. I had a lot of energy. It was going great. Lace is a lot of fun because it's very fast because everything is cooked in a pot instead of in a pan. So I pour one dye in, put the yarn in, put the darker tonal color on top, and then just let it go. So it's super fast. I don't have to fill the dye bottles. I don't have to do any of that. I love dyeing lace. I hate rescaling it, but dyeing it, it's awesome. And I was going right along, and I noticed that my hot water pressure had started to go down. I use not only faucet hot water to rinse and to pre-soak and all that stuff, but I also have water on the stove. So I had some water that was nice and hot, but my pressure was going down. First it was a little bit low. It was quite a bit low. Then I had a trickle, and then I had nothing. Like, either faucet, I had no water. None. I was in the middle of dyeing. I had 5 dye pots going at the time. Not good. So I called the town office. It was 3 o'clock on Friday, and I hoped that they would still be there because they have kind of short hours. So I called them and I said, "Hi, I'm in Brownsville Junction and I have no water, and I just need to know if it's because of non-payment. Did we forget to pay the bill, or is there something going on?" And the woman on the phone assured me, no, it's not because of non-payment. Nobody has water in Junction. We don't know why. Steve's working on the problem, and we don't know when it will be back. The assumption is that I know who Steve is. Everybody, apparently, who lives here knows Steve. I'm not from here, so I have no idea. I'm assuming, I guess Steve is like the head of the water district. Fine. So that totally put the kibosh to the dyeing. I couldn't rinse my fiber. I couldn't do more. I couldn't do anything. Without water, I cannot dye. So I was pretty irritated. So I said, fine, I'm just going to go sit down and go do something else, read a book, whatever. My husband gets home, I explain it to him, and he's like, "Well, you didn't drain the whole hot water tank, did you? You couldn't have. I don't want it to burn up, but you couldn't have used 30 gallons of hot water." Yeah, I can. And I did. I used all 30 gallons from the hot water tank when I was dyeing because I had no idea that the water had gone off until I physically ran out of water. So we shut that off so that it didn't burn itself up, and the water finally did come back on in the evening. But about the same time, a woman stopped. She was driving pickup down the road, stopped and handed us this bright green yellow piece of paper that said, "Brownville Junction has a boil water order in effect until further notice." So to brush our teeth, to cook, to drink, all of that water has to be boiled. I don't dare dye because if they've added something to the water or if something has messed up with the water, it changes the colors of my dye. When they add chlorine, it turns everything orange. When they add fluoride, it makes everything like a different shade. It's off a little bit. And I don't want to mess up my colorways because I'm impatient. So I'm waiting until they tell me that the water is safe to drink again so that I can dye. So unfortunately, this update is going to be a little bit smaller than usual. Something just made noise. That's weird. Anyway, seriously, what is that noise? Oh, weird. Where was I? Yeah, I won't be dyeing until I know for sure what's going on with the water. It stinks, but I'd rather be safe than sorry. So I will get to dye pots in just a little bit, and I will let you know what I did dye, and it is pretty good stuff. So, all right, moved some stuff to the apartment on Saturday. We moved the bed and the bed frame and the dresser and some boxes of stuff that I had, just small stuff. You know, I'm just trying to take a truckload down when I'm going down anyway. We made a special trip this time, but I have to go down Friday the 19th. I have to go down Monday the 29th, and then I have to go that Wednesday, so the 31st. From then on, I'll be in service in school. So I've got at least 2 more trips to make stuff down. So the next one, my cubbies are going, so all these have to be emptied. My wooden shelves, my craft table will probably go. All the stuff that can go will go. So I'm working on it slowly but surely. Let's see, what else for the weekend review? I finished Dash Dash. I'll get more into that in a minute, but I completed Saturday night. Saturday night? Yes. Saturday night, early Sunday morning, I had to just Kitchener a couple of stitches on a hat, and then I was on Stash Dash. So everything's been added in the official Knit Girls Stash Dash thread. My post is number 42. So if you want to go check out all the stuff I did, you can do that. And it's all in my projects in my stash page too. So if you want to look there, you can. But I'll get into that more in a minute. All right, knitting and spinning. I did knit on the Even Star this week. My allergies have been crazy this week, and I've actually had to take some Benadryl. I'm one of those people that pills affect very strongly, so I can't take an adult dose of Benadryl because I lose consciousness for 4 hours straight. Like, I just have to sleep. So I've been taking just one pill, and it makes me dingy, but it also is giving me this weird elevated state of being where I can uber concentrate on one thing despite being tired and my sinuses aching. Yesterday, I was able to reskein all of the pin cherry lace in a go, which normally I can't do because I hate doing it and it takes me forever. But I was in that sort of weird, funky state of Benadryl-induced haze where I was able to get it done. So Friday morning, I was in that same state, and I actually picked up the Even Start and knit 3 rows all together at once. And I don't ever knit 3 rows on Even Start at once. It's got 576 stitches per row, I think. Like, I don't just knit 3 rows. But I'm at the point in the chart C or chart 3 where every other row is a straight knit row. It only takes me like 20, 25 minutes. Like, bang, bang, bang. That's quick. So it was 1 pattern row and 2 plain knit rows. So I don't know if it really counts as 3 rows, but I'm counting it. I did do the math, and last week I said I had 10 rows left to go on the chart. I had 20. So I'm down to 17 rows, and I find myself wanting to knit that again. I keep looking at it on my stand going, I really want to knit on that. I really want to knit on that. So I hope to have some time, now that I can't dye for the next several days, to have some more time to work on that. I can't start the My Wish shawl until I get chart 3 of Even Star completed. So I'm hoping to get that done before I move. I don't want to... I just want it done before I move. I just really want to take this couple of weeks and bang out those 17 rows and get them done. So, I told you last week about the Bartlett yarns, and I had 2 skeins that I was going to knit my husband's a beanie out of, and I did knit that. Now this is my own pattern. It will be a free pattern on Ravelry. This is the beanie. And you'll see here that there's like a ridge. It's kind of wonky looking. That's because this is a liner that actually folds up inside. The purl ridge helps it fold right on that line. So you have this winter beanie that's double thick here. So on that section over your ears, and this is about 5 or 6 inches of extra because my husband has huge ears. So when you put it on, it's straight stockinette, and this, of course, this is the back, so it probably shouldn't be that way, but you knit straight stockinette, and it doesn't curl because it's got that whole piece inside. So you don't have to do ribbing on the outside, which gives it a real smooth look, which I love. And I did 2 gray stripes just for contrast, and I did the standard knit 2 together evenly around, and then the last 6 stitches I actually Kitchenered, because the last time I ran the yarn around it and pulled it through. It left a little point, and that was a preemie cap, so it didn't really matter. But I wanted to make sure that that top was nice and flat, so I did Kitchener the last 2 stitches on that. This hat fits me perfectly. It is 94 stitches around in a worsted weight on US on US 5 or 3.75 millimeter needles, which is a small yarn for this kind of, a small needle for this weight of yarn. But he likes really tight fabric, and you can see that those stitches are all really nice and tight together. I have a large head. This hat fits me perfectly. It makes him feel like his head's going to pop off. So I'm hoping that when I block it, it will block bigger. Now this yarn, Bartley Yarns, they told us in the tour that their yarn isn't soaked after being spun and plied because their spun twists per inch and their plied twists per inch balance out perfectly. So they have a balanced yarn and they don't have to soak it to finish it. I'm really hoping that this grows because he kept telling me it wasn't going to be big enough, and I kept telling him that it was going to be big enough, and it is big enough for me, but it's not big enough for him because he has an even bigger, fatter head than I do. So I don't know, I kind of think I'm cute in it. So if it has to be mine and I have to buy another skein of the blue, I have plenty of the gray, but if I have to buy another skein of the blue, I have to buy another skein of the blue. It's no hardship to buy Bartley yarns, but I really am hoping that it blocks out big. Of course, I took all my blocking mats and pins down to the coast to the apartment because I didn't think I'd be needing them because I don't ever finish anything. So I'm going to try it with a towel. I did find some just sewing pins, and I'm going to try blocking it. So fingers crossed that this grows quite a bit. But once I get this pattern written up, it will be free on Ravelry, and I hope you guys knit this for... It's a great Christmas gift. And this was fast. This took me like 2 days of knitting. Like, I love worsted weight projects. So, I knit that. And let's see. I did cast on a pair of socks, and this is going to be a pattern as well. This will also probably be a free pattern simply because I'm relatively sure that this, something like this, very similar to this, has been knit before. This isn't anything terribly unique or original. It's not like the Livy, but this is just a simple slipped stitch sort of trellis design. It is knit out of Intention yarns. This is one of the yarns that I got in the purchase of the company. It doesn't have a colorway name. It didn't even have a label. It was like a test skein of something with a piece of sawdust on there. But it's all kinds of purples and silvers and black and some undyed. It's really nice. It's showing up a little bit grapier on your screen than it is here, but that's what it looks like. It's gorgeous. And I got the yarn because I was going to knit a baby hat for Knit on the Fly's knit along that they're doing right now for the Click for Babies, the charity project to pass out purple hats to raise awareness about shaken baby syndrome. And I will be doing purple hats for that. But I haven't wanted to knit socks for myself in a while, not since my 30th birthday socks. And when I had wound this all up, I said, you know, that would be really pretty. And it's a variegated yarn, and the slip stitch is great for a variegated yarn. If you can hear that high-pitched squealing, those are the trains in the train yard. Brownbelt Junction is a train junction. I'm sorry about that, but the window's open, so it's not so humid. But anyway, that will also be a free pattern once it's done. It's knitting up really fast. I started this at the start of TrueBud last night, and I knit a little bit during the Knit Girls podcast today, but I already have several inches. It's my standard toe-up. It is more stitches. Usually I do 64 stitches for toe-up sock on US 2 needles, or 2.75 millimeter needles. But this, because of the stitch pattern is a repeat of 5, it's actually 70 stitches. So if it's too big for me, I'll just give it away. No big deal. Yeah, okay. What else am I knitting? I have notes today. Spinning. Forget knitting. None of the rest of it matters. Spinning. I have been spinning. And, of course, it's as part of my packing. I don't know if you noticed that my cubbies look a lot more empty than they did last week because I am packing my yarn. Now, when I'm using those little bags that sheets and quilts and stuff come in when you buy them, they're really simple bags. They're bug tight. They have zippers. This is the craft yarn bag. This has the acrylic and the cotton and the just odds and ends balls and things like that. But I just wanted to make sure I had stuff to knit. So most of my stash is going with me. Not all of it, but most of it. So that's one bag. This is the wool and alpaca bag. So there's all kinds. That's all the DK stuff that Stephen gave me there. some Lion Brand, some Good Karma Farm, some Bernat, some Lusty Yarns, all kinds of good stuff in here, but it's not in here either. So there's that one. And then the biggest one, which has this nice little rope handle, this is like my premium stuff. This has got some of my stuff. This is Intention Yarns in the Indulge colorway, which you should buy if you haven't yet. There's some left. This is Handmade. You can see the Malabrigo tag right here. This is what's left of my 30th birthday socks, handspun. Somewhere in here, I think, yeah, there it is. Let me get the zipper open. Is the Politically Incorrect Fibers bat that I finished spinning. I don't know why it took me so long to finish. I started the bat for Tour de Fleece, and then I had like half an ounce left to spin, and then just the second 2 ounces had to be plied. I don't know why it took me so long. But these are the two skeins. I have a total of 430 yards. I did ply it as a gradient. So I spun it starting with the blue, which went into the purple, which went into the pink, which went into the white. And what I did was, the bat was 4 layers thick, so each skein is 2 layers of the bat. And I spun them the same and then plied 2 layers together. So it's not perfect. There are a couple of places like right here where you can see it's blue and purple. It's not just all one color, but mostly it's spun in a gradient. It spun and coordinated the colors. I love these yarns. They're soft, they're smushy. I don't know yet what it's going to be. I'm thinking a simple shawl like the Age of Brass and Steam or Lala's Simple Shawl or something like that, just to play with the colors. But I also don't know how I'm going to work the colors because 2 times it goes from blue to purple to pink to white, so I don't know how I'm going to do that. I have time to think about it. Yarn does not come with an expiration. So that's in there. So that's coming with me. If you guys have any suggestions, let me know. So I have 3 bags of yarn going with me in the next trip down to the coast. I also plied up, as part of Stash Dash, I plied up a lot of the singles that I had here. Almost all of my singles got plied up, which was great because a lot of it was stuff that I had spun on my spindle and I just hadn't gotten around to plying it. So as part of Stash Dash, to get my yardage totals, I plied all of those up on the wheel, and they're great. I have 4 different yarns that are plied up, and they look awesome. And then I started spinning the Bartlett Yarns pencil roving. I just started this last night, so you can still see the bobbin through there. This is incredibly thin stuff. I don't know how well you can see. Here's some strands. It doesn't look as thin as it really is here, but it's very, very thin. It's about like the width of upholstery thread, which is a little bit thicker than regular like sewing thread, but it's fine, very, very fine. It is a little bit rustic. It's got some neps and stuff in there just because of the way, I mean, it is roving, it's not top. But I'm loving this. I'm spinning it as thin as humanly possible. I changed my wheel from double drive to single drive with the brake band, and oh my god, I don't know why it took me 2 years to do that because it's so much more intuitive for me to spin that way. My tension issues are done. I can spin much more finely. I can fit more in a bobbin. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. If you have a convertible wheel and you haven't tried the second way, try it. So worth it. And speaking of Stash Dash, I did complete it. When I entered that last picture into the thread, I had this very Tom Hanks from Castaway moment where I'm like, I have made fire! Like, I have completed Stash Dash! I was so impressed with myself. My husband's like, that's great. I was thrilled. I only made it by like 10 yards or 14 yards. It doesn't matter. I made it. I did it. It's awesome. Very, very happy with myself. I joined Stash Dash not because I wanted any prizes or anything, but because I really was hoping that it would create a state of finishitis for me. And in fact, I did finish a lot of stuff. Those singles have been driving me insane. Like, they just take up mental space. So to get those done in yarns, great. None of them are 4 ounces. They were mostly like between 50 and 60 grams. So it doesn't matter. They're done. They're plied. Finished Giro Soleil. And Giro Soleil was a 2-year-long project. Just to finish Giro Soleil made Stash Dash worth it. I was hoping to finish Even Star as well, but that didn't happen. That's okay. I got progress on it. I got over the hibernation phase of it where I took it back out and started working on it again, and I'm making progress slowly but surely. So I'm pretty proud of that. I got my husband's socks done, which took just shy of 2 years, I think. Those took forever, and I finally got them done. He's happy with them. So really, Stash Dash was a good thing for me. I really enjoyed it. So thank you, Leslie and Laura, for doing that. I loved that it was a total yardage, not a total number of balls used, because I have OCD, and unless I use 100% of a ball, I don't feel like I can count it. So, and I don't knit sweaters. So I wouldn't have been as successful at that, I think. So I hope they do it again next year. Oh, and I knit with my own hand spun, the Ishbel, that I not only spun the yarn and plied it myself, but then I knit an object from it. And I don't often use my hand spun. I'm very guilty of leaving finished yarns. All of those are just finished yarns that I haven't knit with. So it was nice to have that impetus, because I got to count this twice, both once as yarn and again as an object. So that was good. So I really enjoyed Stash Dash. All right, what you're here for is dye pots. So let's get talking about dye pots. There's almost no fiber going to be in this update. There's one colorway of fiber. It's a good one, but there's only one. I dyed up some peacock in the white spruce top. This is the 60% merino, 30% bamboo, and 10% nylon, and the lights that I'm using right now make that look fantastic. This is that beautiful, lovely, soft, smushy fiber. Now, I have 3 of these. They will be up for purchase in tonight's update at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I really hope that whoever buys this and spins it shows me a picture of it spun up. I don't often get an opportunity to spin my own yarns from my own fibers because I sell them, but I really think this is beautiful, and I think it will make an incredible yarn. So I'll have 3 of those. That's peacock, and that'll be in the white spruce top category in the shop. It's 60% superwash merino, 30% bamboo, 10% nylon. That's it for fiber. I do have some sock, and I have some lace. Now, the sock that I dyed this week is the silver maple sock, which is the same thing, 60% superwash merino, 30% bamboo, and 10% nylon. The first colorway I did was one, my husband loves this colorway, and so he always, when I ask him what to dye, he always says Limitless. So this is Limitless. It is sunshine golden yellow, a nautical soft blue, and then it goes into what's supposed to be black, but realistically is like a charcoal gray. Almost black. And so these 2 are unreskeined, and this one is in the middle here is reskeined. They're all exactly the same. It's just, this shows you a little bit better, I think, how it will knit up. So, I did some challenging yarn. I had 3 custom requests, and so I did 2 dye pans worth. So I have 3 that'll be in the shop and 3 that will be listed as reserved. So this is the challenging yarn, the 2011 Podcaster Challenge official yarn. And it's the same thing. It's the plummy purple, the green. It's not plummy. It's floxy purple, green, golden yellow, orange red, and then a deeper orange red. And this is what it looks like reskeined. I love this colorway. It just has so much energy. I just love it. I also did a custom order that I can't show you because the person didn't want to be surprised. I will be taking pictures of it, and I can show you next week. It's 2 skeins that coordinate. One is a gray, like a granite, and the other one is purple and gray, uses that same gray but also some purple. So I think it would look great as the My Wish shawl. I don't know if that's what she's going to do with it, but it's pretty cool. I'm sad I can't show you that, but I will definitely take pictures to show you later. And then lace. I did both pin cherry lace and black cherry lace. Pin cherry lace is 80% fine merino and 20% silk. Black cherry lace is 100% fine merino. So, I do have some, where's the other one? Oh, so there. That were custom orders. So some of these I only have 1 because they wanted 1 skein. So it's easy to dye up 2 as it is to dye up 1. So I dyed up a second one, and that one will be available in the shop. These are both available. This is lilac. Very pale purple and cream and all the shades in between. I have 2 of those. I have 2 of the frost. These are all pin cherry lace. This is the merino silk. Frost is that super pale silver. I love Frost. Love it. I think Frost would make a fantastic even star. I have two Wildflower. Now, I want you to look carefully at Wildflower because if you notice, one skein is darker than the other one. They're the same dye pot. They were literally dyed with the same dyes in the same pot, but one must have been on top of the other one, and so one absorbed the dye darker than the other. So they look as though they're different dye lots. If this would bother you if you're knitting a shawl, don't buy both. Ask me and I can custom dye you ones that are a little bit closer together. I do not want people to be unhappy because they think they're getting the same and one looks different. I'm just letting you know. That's part of the nature of hand-dyed yarns. Sometimes that happens. So those are Wildflower. I think it'd be neat to start with the light one, like at the center of like a Girasole or a pie shawl, and then go out to the dark one. That's just me. I have two blooming crab apples. That pale pink and vanilla cream. Love that colorway. And I have one peacock. The other one was custom order, so I have one skein of peacock. I'm not sure ever about highly variegated lace yarns, but maybe it would be perfect for whatever it is you're doing. I'm not really sure. I love the colorway. This is the same dyes. You do up a big pot and then you do multiple fibers. That's what I do. So I created the colorway, the dye pots, all of my bottles of the colorway, and then I used what was left to dye the fiber. So I have a little bit of both. And then I also have the black cherry lace, but it's hanging. I haven't reskeined it, so I'm just going to move the camera. If you get nauseous, don't look for a second. But rather than pick them all up, I'm just going to show them to you. They're over here. You can see them hanging up. On the far end is spruce, which is the dark green. That's the same thing, one dyed lighter than the other. I'm starting from the left. So spruce, clear skies, moss, blue lobster, only one of those will be available. Lupin, only one of those will be available. And Cortland, both of those will be available. So I had a good time dyeing. I really enjoy redoing those colorways because they always turn out a little bit different every time. They make me happy. What can I say? All right, so that will all be in the shop update today at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You get cranking on that because it still had to be reskeined and photographed and all that. There will also be spindles in this update. There will be the medium weight and the lightweight spindles. I'm keeping all of my heavyweights out right now. My husband is totally balking about making them. He's tired of making spindles. He apparently never wanted to make hundreds of spindles, which he has. He's not really enthused. I think maybe it's time to buy him a new power tool to get him to want to make them again. But I'm teaching at Fiber College this year, which I'll talk about in a minute, and I offer heavyweight spindles for use in my class. So I need to keep the heavyweights for myself, so there will be no kits, but there will be individual spindles in medium and lightweights. So processes. I have seen two questions pop up several times this week, and I just wanted to address them really quickly because A, one of them is a pet peeve of mine, and B, this podcast is designed to be a resource. So here we go. The first question that I've heard a lot lately is, what is the difference between roving and top? Now, I don't blame you if you don't know the difference between roving and top. Knit Picks offers Peruvian roving. That's not roving, it's top. So if the huge yarn companies are getting the difference wrong, how can you be expected to know? I did email Knit Picks about that, and I got like a little form email like, hey, we'll pass it along to our marketing department. Get it right. You're wrong, Knit Picks. You're wrong. I'm not ranty. I'm really not ranty. But I was just sort of like, whatever. Okay. Of course, I don't have any examples right in my hands to show you. Oh, yes, I do. That's all I had to do is lean back. Okay. Combed top. The difference between combed top and roving is the difference between wet and dry spaghetti. Let me explain. Combed top is a preparation where all of the fibers are aligned parallel to each other, just like a box of dry spaghetti. All of the fibers are going in the same direction. They're all going this way. And they're all very tight together. You can fit a lot of fiber in a very small space. It's very compact. The fibers slide against each other very easily because they're not really interlocking with each other. They're all just laying next to each other. So combed top is parallel dry spaghetti. Roving, however, isn't combed, it's carded. And all of the fibers, kind of like wet spaghetti, they all kind of interlock all over each other. So this is an example of roving. You can see that there's no vertical lines in this at all because the yarn isn't going up and down. It's going all over everywhere and curly. Let's see if I can get the camera to focus on that. Okay, so this roving, when you pull it out, the fibers are going to want to grab each other together. Can you see they're all hanging out? They're going to want to grab a hold of each other. So you'll get more resistance when you pull off a piece of roving than you will on a piece of top, unless it's felted, which is a whole separate issue. You'll also notice in combed top that when a staple length comes off, the whole staple will come out. So you'll get, like if it's a 4-inch staple or a 6-inch staple, you'll get the whole thing. With roving, this could be a 6-inch staple fiber, but you're not going to get it because they're all curled around each other. So it's much harder to tell how long the individual fibers are. And there's nothing wrong with that. If you are spinning a slippery fiber, something like a superwash or BFL or something that's slick, tensile, roving might help you if you are unfamiliar with that fiber because the fibers do grab each other. If you want, the purpose between the top is the difference between the type of yarns that it makes. Combed top, because it is parallel and compact, will create you a nice, even worsted yarn. Worsted yarns are more durable. They're heavier per inch or per meter because there's less air in between them. They're very smooth. They have excellent stitch definition. Okay? Yarn that comes from roving is often called woolen yarn, which means there's a lot of air in between the fibers, so it's a very lofty yarn, but also has a halo because these fibers are going every which way, so you get a fuzzier yarn. This hat is knit from roving, so the stitches the lines are blurred a little bit. Okay? So, do I have anything knit? This is knit from a worsted yarn, from a worsted or a combed top preparation. So you can see all the individual stitches very clearly. Okay? One is not better than the other. People have preferences, but it's totally personal choice. But combed top, dry spaghetti, roving, wet spaghetti. Okay? Are we clear on that? If I'm not clear, if you still don't understand, send me a private message on Ravelry. My name on Ravelry is Boutros Babe, Boutrosbabe. And I'd be happy to try to explain it further. If you think you're going to spin roving and you spin combed top, you may experience frustration, especially if you know the difference between the two. If you, for example, go to Knit Picks and you think that you're buying roving and you get combed top, you could be irritated. It's why I find it personally very important to be clear about the difference. It's important. These are very different preparations. One is not synonymous to the other. Okay? It's important. So, if you agree with me, you should also email Knitpicks and tell them that they're wrong. They're not the only people that are wrong. There are people on Etsy all the time that just refer to fiber as roving. They're small scale. I'm not so concerned about that, but I don't want a new spinner to think that they can't spin because he or she has the wrong kind of roving or top. And they're having difficulty with one or the other. And so they give up. I don't want that to happen. So, the other question is, what is rescanning and why do dyers do it? Okay. Rescanning is the process of taking dyed yarn, and this is a 2-yard hank. I will put this on my Swift, my umbrella Swift, and I'll put it back through the Crazy Monkey Skein Wonder and make another 2-yard hank that looks exactly the same, except when you dye yarn, it shortens up a bit. So you get these big color chunks right here, and because the yarn has shortened a little bit, these will all realign. And so the chunks, like you can see this right here, see that big section of light, like you can see this right here, see that big section of light right there? They realign so that instead of seeing big chunks in a twisted braid, you see all the different strands lying next to each other. This does two things. One, it keeps you from thinking that I'm a crappy dyer because there's big chunks like this. Personally, that's what I think when I look at that. I'm like, ooh, it doesn't look good. But more importantly, it allows you to see more clearly what the finished yarn will look like what the yarn will look like when it's knit up. It would be hard for you to think about what this looks like in a sock, perhaps. If you see it like this, you'll kind of see how the individual colors play off each other, so you might have a better idea how it's going to look knit up. Also, if you're knitting a self-striping sock yarn, self-striping yarns are created into several different mini skeins that are all connected together, and you literally can't knit from that. It all has to be combined back into one big skein so that you can knit from it. So if it's a self-striping, it's got to be reskeined anyway. So that's why I reskein. Maybe other dyers have different reasons why they reskein, but I think it makes a better finished product, and I also think it helps the purchaser understand what it will look like when it knits up. So that's why I do it. Okay. Processes. That was process. I did dye pots. That was process. Growth. I'm made plans for Fiber College. Fiber College is September 8th through the 11th in Searsport, Maine, at the Searsport Shores Campground. Don't be intimidated by the name Fiber College. I was before I went, but turns out tons of classes, tons of really great teachers. Mary Jane Mucklestone, me. I'm not in the same category as Mary Jane Mucklestone, but I am teaching. I'm teaching absolute beginner spindling and spindle plying techniques. It's a lot of fun. It's a very laid-back, sort of camp-like atmosphere. There's classes all day long. Josette from Enchanted Mill Farm is doing a bat making class that I think goes all day on Thursday. I'd have to look. You can go to fibercollege.org and learn more about it. The classes are affordable. We don't set the prices. The Fiber College does. There are vendors there. There are a lot of local farms that have their own roving, locally processed, grown roving, which is fantastic. I bought some fin last year from Heron Crossing Farm at Fiber College. Love it. There's sheep and alpaca and goats there, and so it's just a lot of fun. It's good for your family. There's other crafts there too, so if you bring your husband, there's a guy there who turns wood, and he just does it to sell what he has. Like, he makes it for you right there. So last year the coordinator Astrid asked for a nose to pin, and he just made one right there. He's got a lathe, and he's got all of his wood carving tools. My husband must have watched him for hours last year. Super nice guy. So there's wood carving, there's weaving, there's felting, spinning, knitting. There's all kinds of crafts there. So definitely check it out. It's fibercollege.org. Sign up for a class and come visit. If you don't have to sign up for a class either. You can just come to browse the vendor market. There's some unbelievable food vendors there too. Oh my God, I had this barbecue ribs last time that were amazing. Like, I'll drool just thinking about it. Great time. You're right by the ocean. Come on down. Have a good time. Say hi. Stop by. I will be outside. Last year I was in this garage. It was an indoor space I paid a lot more money for. Not doing that this year. I'll talk about more, but I'm going to be outside. I'm going to have a canopy, so I'll talk about that more in just a minute. But yeah, so that's growth. I am designing again. The hat's a new design. The sock's a new design. The bug has kind of bitten me again. I'm glad. It's been a long time since I've wanted to design. So I've been looking up lace motifs, and I got to tell you, I've got some lace motifs that I cannot wait to knit up. It's going to wait until I'm at the apartment, but soon, very soon, there will be awesome knitting afoot. I can't wait. And the last thing of growth is I did buy a canopy. I put my husband on this job because he is fantastic at doing side-by-side comparisons of a bunch of companies. And I have specific needs for a canopy. It has to be 10 by 10 with straight legs, not diagonal, but straight legs. It has to have a white top to let light in, and it have to have the ability to put up sidewalls. I did look at Ups. That's the brand name, the letter E, the letter Z, and then Up. They were expensive, and their frame is 3/4 of an inch. Okay, that's not really very strong or thick. Cabela's had one that was an inch and an eighth or inch and a quarter. So it was a heftier pole, and I really want big, hefty, meaty poles. I do not want this thing to just blow away on the first breeze. So we were going to go with the one from Cabela's. And then via some searching, my husband found hayneedle.com. And through hayneedle.com, I got one that has, I think it's an inch and an eighth, so it's not quite as wide. Cabela's was inch and 3/8, and the Hayneedle is inch and an eighth. It's only 1/4 of an inch difference, but it had a 600 denier canopy, which is a nice, thick, heavy material. It has a 2-year manufacturer's warranty, so if anything rips, breaks, rusts, whatever, it does have a warranty, which I was really impressed with. Cabela's only has a 30-day return policy. It has a wheeled bag that you put everything in. I can set it up by myself. It has a center push. The very center has this wide disc that you use to push it up. So I watched the little video demo, and I should be able to set it up by myself. It was free shipping. I ordered it on the 12th. It should be here on the 17th, which is nice and fast, so I have plenty of time to set it up. I got the sidewalls. I'm tentatively impressed. Now, I haven't yet seen it or dealt with it. But I'm excited. I feel like we did our research. We looked a lot of places. We compared a lot of different canopies. And I did spend some money. I spent about $400 for the canopy and the sidewalls together. But honestly, it won't take me that long to make my money back in fees because outdoor spaces are cheaper than indoor spaces. But also, it helps my grid walls be more secure because I can zip tie the grid walls to the actual frame of the canopy, so I don't have to worry about the feet and them tipping over. They'll be secured at the top, and they'll have feet at the bottom, so that'll be great. And I'm excited about it. So hopefully I'll have a little impromptu video. I'll take it outside once I get it set up, and you can see the new canopy for Highland Handmades and all that. So, yay! Okay, grabby hands. I have a lot of grabby hands. In fact, some grabby hands has to wait till next week. I'd mentioned that I'd won a contest on Knitty. I got the Fleece and Fiber Source book this past week. Oh my god. That's going to be a grabby hands all by itself because it deserves to be all by itself. So, I told you that I was going to hold it to this week. Sorry, you're going to hear a big bang. It's my scanner. I got 2 magazines from Borders. I'd already talked about 2. I'm going to talk about these 2. Interweave Knits Weekend and the new Knit Scene, fall of 2011. I purchased Knit Scene because I've purchased Knit Scene in the past, and Knit Scene has the patterns that appeal to me the most. Of all the knitting magazines that I have purchased or looked at, Vogue Knitting never has anything in it that I want to knit. Simple Knits really doesn't ever have anything in it that I want to knit. This magazine always has stuff in it that I want to knit. Always. And a lot of it's sweaters, and I'm never encouraged to buy sweaters. I told you last time also that I love the advertisements. There's an advertisement right here for Acadia yarn from the Fiber Company. Now, it's F-I-B-R-E. I'm not sure where the Fiber Company is from. I think it's from Australia, but I don't know that for sure. But there's Acadia National Park in Maine, and I just thought that that was kind of cool. I know the Knit Girls have talked about this, so I'm not going to go into huge detail about the Shaping Your Knit section, except to say that in the Shaping Your Knits article, they talk about putting your waist increase and decreases not on the edge of your knits on the side seam, but actually, I don't know if you can see this, here inside in the middle, to put them in your details here to do your shaping inside rather than on the edges. I thought that was pretty cool, actually. That will be something that I will maybe incorporate. Okay, there were 3 patterns that I really liked in this magazine, and I just wanted to show you the 3 patterns that I really enjoyed. The first one is the Hawkmouth Pullover by Debbie O'Neill. This is a lace weight pullover. My light is maybe not so great. You can obviously see the camisole that she has underneath, but it's very simple. Simple lines, simple length, simple neck, and it's just, here's another example of it. I like the saddle shoulder. I just really liked it. It would be a good way to use lace weight in a non-traditional way. I like that. And lace weight's so stretchy, you probably would just knit it maybe straight with negative ease and not worry about shaping, and I think it would probably shape itself. I also did like the Lowry pullover, which I think it was the Knit Girls and maybe somebody else. Addicted to Yarn said she liked it too. I love this pullover. I can't decide if I like the look of the pullover itself or if I just want to look like that wearing it. I'm not really sure. Maybe that one doesn't show up so well. I love the honeycomb stitch. I love the V-neck. I like this. I mean, it's busy, but it's simple. It's not, there's not a lot of it going on. It's an all-over pattern. I really liked that. I don't know that I would look necessarily so good in it. The spare tire, maybe I've got to do the shred with Mommy Needs Yarn, and maybe then I'll do it. The other thing I really liked was the Live Oak Shawlette by Romy Hill, and not for the traditional reason. The reason I liked the shawlette is because, or shawl, whatever it is, shawlette, is because there's no spine. A lot of shawlettes have a spine right here that goes down, which is like yarn over, knit one, yarn over, knit two, yarn over. I like that this doesn't have it. It uses increases from the neck down and then has this transitional lace here at the bottom. I really liked that. I just thought that was just different enough to be terribly interesting. That was it for that magazine. There are some other patterns in it that I really liked. I did like the way that it was photographed. I liked the additional pictures that you get in the picture section, in the pattern section. But yeah, so Fall 2011 Knitsy. The other one, Interweave Knits Weekend. I did, you can see I liked quite a bit in it. Not just patterns, which are my yellow tabs, but the blue tabs, which are articles or techniques or things like that. I liked the way they organized this because they organized their knits by season. So March to May. These are like transitional sorts of things. And the March to May. I loved this cardigan. I couldn't pull it off. I need a flat stomach to pull it off. But I liked this. Now, I would lengthen the sleeves because I hate 3/4 length sleeves. But I love that little detail. That little detail, the pink, is done in lace weight on the edge. And it just adds a little teeny layered bit of flair to that. I love it. I just thought that was really cool. Let's see. In the June and July, they had this this Mobius cowl. It's called the Mixed Cowl. I liked the diagonal design. It would have to be knit in something really drapey, like an alpaca or silk or something. I don't have anything in my stash that would be able to knit with that, but I really did like the look of it. Speaking of Mary Jane Mucklestone, she went to Shetland Islands. This is Mary Jane Mucklestone, and they were photographing a book from Interweave, and she went along, and she talked about all the places that they went and cool stuff that they did. They went to a spinning mill. You know, that's just fun. She's from Maine. I just had to point that out because I really liked it. It's the next pattern that I enjoyed. In August and September, I was just showing you, this is organized for August and September. I don't like the colors of this sweater, but I like the way that it's shaped. It's knit up and down, and it uses short rows up here to shape it. I thought that was pretty cool. I don't know that I'd knit it. I have huge shoulders. Like, I'm like a linebacker, and I don't think I could pull it off again, but I want to try this. I hope maybe these people will send me one to test. DharmaTraining.com has this spin dryer. It's electric, and you put in your wet like garments that you just soaked, and it will spin all the water out of it, which slows shortens the drying time. I really think that that's neat. It has a small little footprint. I think that would be great for skeins of yarn, seeing as how I'm using my sweater dryer right now, but it takes a day. I think that if I did that first, it would be awesome. So, I just really like that. Let me see if I can find a better picture. The 8,000 foot hoodie is a plain button-down hoodie. I would make that a zipper, but it has color work details on the hood and the cuff. Sorry about the glare. I liked that. I did not like the guy sweater, but to each his own, I guess. Let's see, 8,000 foot hoodie. Twisted Stitch stockings. Designed by Meg Swanson. Now that's enough to get me to like it right there. I love the three-dimensional detail on that. But it also, and I haven't read this whole pattern, but it says here, half a stitch can be snipped along the initial pickup round in the inset. The round unpicked and the bottom of the foot will fall off, leaving the inset intact. Now, why would you want the bottom of your foot to fall off? Let's see if I can find the picture that shows it. It's knit a totally different way on the foot. I don't know how well you can see that. So that this is like knit in the round and then stitched together. Very unique construction. I don't know why it's done like that, but I thought it was really interesting. The November knits, I love that sweater. I love how long the sleeves are. I love how bulky that is. I don't like the collar, but I wouldn't have to knit that collar if I didn't want to. I just liked it. Big, fat, chunky, cold weather sweater. There's another picture of how long those sleeves are here. I like long sleeves. I don't have a problem with sleeves that overhang my hands. When you're as tall as I am, 5'9" and a remainder that I don't want to talk about, it's hard to find women's garments that are long enough. I have to either buy tall or buy men's clothes because my wrists are always showing. I hate that. So, I like that that sweater was written with a longer sleeve. And like the 3/4 length sleeves, I look like a giant, like I'm just too tall for my clothes. Like capri pants, can't do it. I just look like a giant, like those are normal pants, I'm just too tall. 52 minutes, look at that. Well, oh, I forgot a grabby hands. Oh my, that wasn't all my grabby hands. Good Lord. We're gonna make an hour. I keep mentioning this and then having to cut it out because of time, but I'm not going to cut it out this time. But I just wanted to mention that my friend Katie loves me because she made me stitch markers. She made me some little pink ones. There go my notes. She made me these little designed ones, have this little flower detail on them or shamrock detail on them. And my favorite ones, these ones, which have these really cool painted glass beads. Of course, it's going to be, camera's not going to focus on them, but I got 3 bags of pretty stitch markers. You've seen in my Even Star that I have 2 pretty stitch markers. Those are the only 2 pretty ones that I have. The rest that I have are all like Lion Brand, plain old ordinary, boring stitch markers. So I have pretty ones now, and I'm very excited about that. I like them a lot. I was using them on the hat that I was knitting. I enjoy it. So thank you very much, Katie, for those. The last thing that I have is so awesome. I don't even have words for the awesomeness, but I'm going to try. I received an email several weeks ago on Ravelry, a message that said, hi, she's a customer of mine. Her name's Jennifer, and she said, listen, I'd heard on your podcast that you needed shop samples for your different yarns for shows and things, and that you didn't have time to knit them. I have time. And if you like, I would be happy to knit you samples of your yarns for the opportunity to knit with those yarns. So the way it works is I send her my yarn and a pattern. She knits the pattern and then sends the knit item back to me. She keeps the extra yarn. She keeps the pattern. No money is exchanged. But holy freaking God, am I the luckiest dyer, designer, spinner, whatever, ever. Ever. Jennifer, I great big puffy heart you, lady, because you are amazing. I sent her a skein of the pin cherry lace in the spruce colorway. And she sent me back Rock Island by Jared Flood. Rock Island by Jared Flood. Look at how beautiful that is. That's the Rock Island lace. That's the border there. Because it's a fine lace weight, it's like a cobweb weight, and it's knit with large needles, the garter stitch has this really neat, I don't know if you can see it, you probably can't. It has like a three-dimensional quality to it that I love. I love this shawl. I love it so, so, so much. It was 84 degrees when I got this from the post office, and I had it wrapped around me. I was like, I'm wearing this. No question. This took her just a couple weeks. This would have taken me months to knit. Months. Nope, took her a couple weeks. She kept the rest of the yarn. Please keep it. Really, you deserve it. You deserve so much more than that. I think she said she's going to knit a swallowtail with what's left. But I have a magnificent shop sample of the pin cherry lace yarn in a current, beautiful pattern that I didn't have to knit myself. Love it. Thank you so much, Jennifer. You're amazing. That's a close-up of the Rock Island lace because it's so pretty. So I hope to use, I don't want to say use, I hope to work with Jennifer again. Now that I know that I can get awesome full-size shop samples of my stuff, I want big stuff and everything. Does that make sense? Like I just want, I can't wear I don't know how to wear a shawl, but I just want lots. I want a black cherry lace example. I want a shawlette in the sock yarn. I want some worsted. I want everything. I want it all. So Jennifer, I hope you're ready to keep knitting for me because I really, really love this. So yeah, if there's a dyer that you really love, if you love a yarn company and you want a chance to knit with their yarns, but maybe you're somebody like me who doesn't keep a lot of the stuff that they knit, email them. Ask. The worst they can say is no. But I felt so lucky that Jennifer had emailed me, and she had said that she was happy because she got an opportunity to knit with the yarn. And she didn't have to purchase. Works out for everybody. It's a win-win. I love it. So yeah. Thanks. I'm so happy. All right. I'm at 57 minutes. I'm not going to edit any of this because I actually think it went pretty well. So someday I'll get back to 20-minute episodes. Someday. That day is not today. You can find me on Ravelry and Plurk as Boutros Babe, BOUTROSBABE. I am on Twitter as Fiberista Files and Intention Yarns. Am I elsewhere? Why do I do this every week? I need to just write it down. The shop is shop.highlandhandmades.com. Shop update will be Monday night, 5 p.m. That's today, Eastern Standard Time. That's all I've got for this week. Until next week, guys, happy spinning and knitting, and thanks for tuning in.